Twilight Princess was released November 19th, 2006. Nintendo announced the game back in 2004. The trailer shows two main places of the upcoming game, Hyrule Field and the Village of Eldin. Then you can see Link on horseback riding across Hyrule Field. When the audience realized it was a new Zelda game, they started cheering and clapping. The Nintendo team did not tell the public they were making a new game. It was supposed to be a sequel to Wind Waker. On the trailer, it shows all the new combat moves, and most importantly, horseback combat. The trailer fades out and Shigeru Miyamoto is on stage with the Hylian shield and the Master Sword. This trailer got people really hyped up for the game, and let's say they are not let down. Twilight Princess is mainly known for the difference in combat than other Zelda games across the years, but I think the bosses and dungeons are a huge part of it. Twilight Princess dungeons are very unique and unlike dungeons we have seen before. Today I'll be ranking them F through S tier and giving my opinion on each dungeon. Tell me if you agree or disagree with my statements in the comments below, or, join my Discord. Tell me there instead. Now before we start, let me just say, huge spoiler warning for obvious reasons. The first dungeon you come across is the Forest Temple, found in the deep woods of Faron. When you first walk into the dungeon, you're greeted by a female monkey trapped in a wooden cage while surrounded by bokoblins and dekubabas. Faron Woods is run by multiple monkeys and the ruler, Ook. During the Twilight invasion, Ook has seemed to be poisoned, has this insect-like thing attached to his head. Ook is being controlled by this insect. The Forest Temple has been casted over by the fused shadows, causing the insect to take over Ook's mind. This temple is a great first dungeon, although having to find all 8 monkeys can be a pain in the fucking can be a pain. Running around a forgotten forest and saving the monkeys from bokoblins and dekubabas. The Gale Boomerang, the item you get from this dungeon, is cool though. It helps out a lot later on in the game, in other dungeons and just in the overworld. I wish we knew more about how this dungeon became and the history behind it though. Overall, it's a pretty good first dungeon. I would put this at a B. It's decent. The next dungeon is the Goron Mines. These mines are abandoned, but not abandoned. You have to go around the dungeon to find the eldest Gorons, who each gives you a piece of the key, and you have to put it together for the main big key for the final boss. The thing about this dungeon that annoys me the most is the magnet stuff. The iron boots you get from the mayor back in Ordon, you have to use them to cheat your way into this dungeon. In certain parts of the dungeon, you have to stick to the ceilings with these boots, but you walk so damn slow. If you take a wrong turn, then you have to go back the way you came, go a different way. It's cool, but so annoying to deal with. I do think the final boss is cool and fun to fight, but I always found this dungeon a bit annoying to work with. Or maybe I played the game too much and I'm just tired of this dungeon. I would put this at a C. The third dungeon is in Lake Hylia, the Lakebed Temple. Before you can access this dungeon, you have to get the water flowing back to Lake Hylia, considering it all dried up from the Twilight invasion. You have to go up to where the Zoras are, and you find out the water is completely frozen. You can see hundreds of Zoras frozen in the water, almost lifeless looking. After you get the water back to Lake Hylia, you can access the Lakebed Temple. The main thing about this temple is the rotating staircase in the middle of the whole dungeon. You have to rotate the staircase to access other parts of the dungeon and to get the water flow where you need it to go. I always found water temples annoying, but this one wasn't too difficult. After you get the boss key and get to the boss room, it's completely silent as you slowly fall to the bottom of the huge water lake room. I don't know what to call it. At first, it's the weird tentacle thing, but soon it shows its full self, and it's like a huge eel. I don't know how else to explain it. The boss fight is amazing and creepy. It still gives me nightmares at night. Although, this was the first thing I said when I saw it. It looks like a vagina. It does. It does. Okay. It still haunts me. I would put this at B tier as well, along with the Forest Temple. It's not my favorite, and it's a bit annoying, but I like the atmosphere of the temple and the different enemies you come across within it. After those 3 temples and you collect all the fused shadows, Midna tells you need to go to the Mirror Chamber to get to the Twilight. This dungeon is in the Gerudo Desert and once was a huge prison for the worst Hylians of Hylia. This dungeon is called the Arbiters Grounds. This dungeon is for sure my favorite in this game. To get to the Arbiters Grounds, you have to go through multiple Boblin camps. Once you get through the camps, you find one of the big pig things, I forgot what they're called, and you ram him into multiple blockades before you get into the entrance. The insides of the Arbiter Grounds are abandoned and dark. There's quicksand inside this dungeon. It reminds me of the pyramids in Egypt. I don't know, traps they would have. The Stalfos, Stalkins, Bubbles, and all the other skeleton-like enemies make this place feel more eerie than it already is. Once you get to the mini-boss, the Haunted Sword or whatever, it honestly be a final boss in itself. You get to get one of the best items in the game from this mini-boss, though. The Beyblade! I mean, the Ancient Spinner. Once you get to the main room of the dungeon, 4 posts take the lights on the staircase, closing the door to the mirror chamber / boss room. You have to find the lights to get back, which isn't too difficult. The final boss of this dungeon is also is my favorite final boss in all of the Zelda games. Star-Lord. Star-Lord is a skeleton of a huge beast that died long ago, that Zant revives in front of Link, trying to stop him from getting to the Mirror of Twilight. The music that plays during this fight still gives me chills like it did for the first time I fought him. Putting this dungeon S tier. Once you get where the mirror chamber is within the Arbiters Grounds, 3 pieces of the mirror are missing. The first dungeon you have to go to retrieve a piece of the mirror is in SnowPeak Mountain. It's this old mansion in the middle of this tall, freezing mountain. 2 Yetis live there. Yeto and Yeta. How original. Anyways, we don't know much about this place. It's an abandoned mansion full of storage of old armor and weapons. Go watch Zeltic's video he made on this mystery of the place. I'll put the link down in the description. This dungeon's music is very calming, and the ice monsters are amazing. Let's not mention the amazing mini-boss item we get, the ball and chain. Smashing all the ice monsters with this gives me way too much joy for no reason. One thing in this dungeon that has always annoyed me were the ice puzzles. I had to get my dad to help me because I was too stupid to figure out, and my chat was no help. Moving on, after searching for the key to the bedroom upstairs, which is where the mirror shard is, Yeta stares into the mirror, get lost in its beauty, and yeah, the final boss is Yeta. The boss fight is actually kind of fun, even though it's annoying sliding on the ice when you're fighting her. But I just love using the ball and chain whenever I can. After you defeat her, Yeto comes in and they hug, and so many hearts spew out of them. Not gonna lie, it's kind of cute, but it's still kind of weird. I would put the SnowPeak Ruins at A tier. After SnowPeak, you have to go find the second mirror shard, which is in the Temple of Time. The Temple of Time is destroyed in Twilight Princess, but with the help of the Master Sword, you can go back in time to when it was there. Let me tell you, this dungeon is so straightforward, even my chat could do it. The mini-boss is a Dark Knight. I love these enemies. They look so mysterious and we don't know much about them either, but they're actually a challenge to fight, unlike a lot of the other enemies in Zelda games. The music of this place and how sleek looking it is amazing. But I hate spiders, and there's so many of them in this godforsaken dungeon, not to mention the final boss, Aragoma. Honestly, the final boss fight is really cool, and you get to smash the spider with the big statues with the help of the Dominion Rod, which you get after defeating the Dark Knight. But why do they have to make a bunch of babies come out of the spider at the end? C tier. C tier. They could have made it so much better, and removed the baby spiders at the end. Still cool. After the Temple of Time, you get shot into the sky and visit the city in the sky. Oh, but wait, this is where the Ukukus live. Why do they have to add such weird things into this game? The Ukuku are found in other dungeons, allowing you to teleport out of dungeons if you need to go grab something, and you can go right back to the room that you were in before. But they didn't need to make a whole dungeon around them, not to mention the longest dungeon in this game. But this dungeon is long for no reason at all, and not to mention how confusing it is to navigate. I do like the enemies in this dungeon though, it has a great variety of them. The final boss is a dragon. It's so cool, but Nintendo, did you really have to make the music so creepy? And why base a whole dungeon off whatever this is? D tier. You're lucky I'm not putting it in F. After getting all the mirror shards, you get to finally go into the Twilight. Honestly, this dungeon is really cool. It's not that long, and the weird creatures there interest me a lot. Although those hands that try stealing the light orbs or whatever are creepy. It's floating hands that creep after you slowly, but also really fucking fast. They're so creepy, but in a good way. Not like those cuckoos. After you get the light orb / bulbs, your Master Sword lights up, making it more powerful, making you ready to fight Ganon. This dungeon, I would put at an A. Hyrule Castle. When you first walk into the courtyard, all you can hear is rain. No music whatsoever. Just rain. In the courtyard, you get to fight the guy you fought multiple times throughout the game. One last time. King Baldwin. After defeating him, he joins your side and gives you the key to the castle. Inside the castle, it's so pretty, and the music just makes it so much better. As you work your way to the top of the castle, you have to use the items you came across. There's small puzzles involving the claw shots, the Gale Boomerang, and other amazing items you've received. Once you get to the top, you meet Ganon face to face. This dungeon is at an A tier. It's not an S tier because it's not as good as Arbiter Grounds, but it's an A tier. That's all for this video. I was inspired by Zeltic's video where he ranked all 3B Zelda dungeons. I'll also link that video of his in the description. Check out his channel. He makes amazing Zelda theory videos and ranking videos. I honestly watch him so much when I have like nothing to do. They're really nice for background and just information that I wouldn't have known before. Tell me if you want to see more videos like this. It's honestly kind of fun to make. I mean, it's Zelda related, and you guys know how much I love Zelda. But yeah. Thanks for watching. See you next time.